Oh, in the morning when we were free falling, we were calling where we would find support potential, but I mentioned a few times. Well, the first one, the very first one we talked about, I forget where it was. It was kind of this V, the push, I think maybe. No, that was after. When was it? Maybe it was in here. We talked about a potential pull, rejection, double bottom, push, and then it threw that long, but then that stopped out, right? And then after that, I was like, because that's a bullish structure that invalidated with volume. That's right. So from there, it was like, I know some people took the shorts because they are breakout traders. They know how to do it. So they see the cluster, the close below, and then they took that momentum, right, with the tight stop. But other than that, we wanted to see how low we were going to take this. Um, but good morning, guys, on TikTok. But to continue on, just because I don't know when people got in, just a little extra sauce for some of y'all that are joining in as we get everybody live here, is where you can identify that bottom is how the structure reacts. And so this is what I talk about heavily. So why did we drop like we did in the first place? If you think about it, if we go high time frame like this, we have a parallel channel that we identified a while back. Um, it was a little respect disrespect in here, but it tried to push from a high time frame. So whether you're 15 second, 1 hour, 4 hour, 8 hour, I don't care. Daily, 27 daily, no, I'm just but the structures all remain the same logic, right? And so we had a sweep absorption here. What is that? Oh, it must have been like a low fib I left. I'm like, what is going on? Absorption, we had that. We had a big sweep with a doji, with a close. All right, high low. You notice on this one, for that fib that we drew, which was to the top of here, you can see we rejected almost perfectly on the 3-2. And then we came down. And then we came back up, came back down, right? Notice on this area, we just kind of clustered that line. We finally broke the line. Down we go. And so from here, what we want to look at, that's likely technical reasons why we dropped. Notice how this was our prior low, 241. Let's pull the actual low. Yeah, 241. And then this one was 240.25. So we don't know, is this a actual parallel break, because we didn't really get much lift off here to get the second point. And so I'm gonna probably take this out for now. This was Neo's lines up here earlier. But so that's kind of our 1 hour. Now where this gets interesting, um, this prior high from a higher time frame, this absorption right here is what pushed us, gave us that confidence to push us up, right, for the most part. Did he call the 240? Oh yeah, he called that. He called that one and he called the 189 on there. Yeah, he nailed that. And so here's where today gets tricky, and I'm gonna give all y'all the pre-warning here, and I'm gonna talk about it again when more people get on. Days like today can be very tricky because Thursdays can be very trap-like. We usually get a pump and dump or dump and pump kind of thing. I know there's a lot of news going on with like the whole yields and all that. Be aware of it, but don't don't let it sway you and your bias. I'm telling you. I have done this a long time, and I've seen this where, and I've had been kind of the victim of it, where the news will be bearish, bearish, bearish. The government's collapsing, the whole world's falling apart, the sky is falling. Run around with your head. I'm shorting this. News channels will be calling, recession. We're going to the floor, and then you come into the day with a bearish only bias, and we go to the moon, and you're like, what the hell just happened? Like, I thought we were all about to collapse and go. And then you look at the next headline that says, you know the government stepped in and said they're going to do this, and it's great, and the markets are responding amazing, and this is likely going to be the catalyst to the next all-time high. And Like the narrative shifts so fast that if you're trading based on narratives, you're gonna get wrecked. Like I don't care. You ain't gonna convince me anybody otherwise. You're gonna get wrecked. And so you want to understand structure. Now, if the structure meets the narrative, this is where I always laugh because let's say we get a little pre-market push and then we have a deep drop extension. Could happen, right? The way that we're set up. The news is going to be all about why we had the deep extension. It's, we're falling to the floor, the sky's falling, the world's collapsing, all that. But when you go to this chart, was it? Yeah, it was this one. You go to this chart. Remember I said a bit ago, when you break a trend line like this and you retest it, that's going to give you the push to give you the extension, right, that you need. That's your trade. But what the market loves to do, for the sake of better words, the market likes to be an asshole. Meaning, it loves trendline people that love to wait for the retest and enter here. And then a lot of times, people who are trendline traders are going to take their stop and they're going to put it, somewhere down here. If you're a longer time, term trader, then what the market loves to do is, for those who don't know how to trail trades, they think it's going to the moon and it comes down. They like to smack that stop, retest this. And here's the funny part is, guys, and this is all for all y'all on TikTok too. When people come in and go, we're really bearish or we're really bullish or we're really, I mean, it's talk about the time frame because it's subjective, right? We're really bullish still on high time frame. We're bearish on some shorter time frames, right? But I know it's extremely shocking, but we could fall literally today. Let's just use a hypothetical. We could fall all the way to 28.6. So, I mean, it's, what, another just insane, what, 700 points. Um, and still be bullish. And so people get crazy on that, like, no, we're so bearish. But this is a high, this is a low. Anything that is high or low is still longer term bullish. It's just a pullback. So the news will come out all crazy and people freak out, like the sky is falling, the market's falling to the floor, because of the news and all this. I mean, the news is the catalyst. I'll never deny that, but the technicals is what it's just following suit in the technicals. Let's think about another technical. What is normal for the market to do after a massive push? Balance equity to a 50% hold. Where's the 50% hold at? Right at the neckline of the inverse head and shoulders that pushes up in the first place, right? Good morning. And so listen to the news, be aware of the news, but just don't let it dictate you or you're going to be wrecked. Now, if technicals support what's going on with the news, then of course, right? You want to ride that train or just stay out. Like if I like longs and I'm only wanting to go long, you just may want to let this play out and reclaim an area at least that would suggest to go long. There's so many things that line up. So look at this thing right here. Watch. And I don't know, guys. I don't have a crystal ball. This is where my crazy mind goes with things. So this line, I'm gonna get rid of this one. So this line right here is a perfect 50 from that pole. So let's look at that line. And this is what I love to do. This is some of my enjoyment here. I'm gonna take the top of that and it's subjective if it's that one or this one, but we'll just pull the farthest one. If I take that and I take it to the top, holy shit, Batman! Isn't that weird? Just kidding, guys. I'm in one of those moods today because the market's wild. But isn't that wild that this whole structure, the 50% of it meets the exact measure move of a second leg down to a possible three-tier drop? How would that three-tier drop, you ask? I know all you are asking. Look, that's something most I teach in the mentor group, but I'll give you all some sauce. So that would look like this. It would drop, hit this, then it would likely do this, then it would do that, then it will do this, reclaim the bottom, and come back up. It's a normal behavior. It literally just did it. We called it this morning in the in the pre-market. So, which I'll show you guys. And so this could do all of this, and the whole world can argue on every social media platform about why we dropped. Well, it's because the bonds and the yields and the Trump tweet and the EU and the oil and the this and I want to burst anybody's bubble, but as long as I've been trading, there's always good news and bad news that comes through. Always. There's just always good news and bad news. But this didn't drop because of the news. It just dropped because it's a high time frame pull to a 50% hold that lines up with literally everything I do and teach TA wise. And it's collapsing because we have the push, the pull here. If we take this as, let's call it a pennant, that pennant has to create expansion, right? So those of you guys in the mentor group, Cody, I know you love to talk, so maybe you or Ryan, you guys are pretty good. Some of you others do. Forget the news. Forget the time frame that we're on. A pennant, let's call it, has to create continuation, right? When it creates a continuation and it fails to get that expansion, what is normally happens?
It reverses hard.
Inverse really hard. So you all, I'm gonna globalize it because that's what we do in this world that's fun. You all, everybody, every single person in here, guys, those are joining. I'm just in the mood today, but so, uh, are calling it we're bearish because of this and that and this story and that story and this news and that news. And I'm looking at this going, that's cool, but we're bearish because we had a continuation pattern that broke out, tried to hold, could not create expansion, lost the high, and we sweep the low. It's just, its structure is normal TA is what it's supposed to do. And so when you take this high and you come down to that low, again, holy shit, Batman. This, I'm just kidding. This, I don't know why that popped in my head. This drop here pushed back to a 382 that rejected. It's what it's supposed to do to show strength for the sell. And so it's, for anybody in here, sky is falling. And so, now I don't know where it's gonna go. I just know what I see TA wise. I know what it needs to do. I know what it could do. So what you always want to do is you don't want to be super overly biased on what you're doing. And so meaning now I want to go to a little lower time frame. What do I got going on? Rejecting off of a 1 hour support resistance that I have. We have a 1-2 drop, could potentially get a third here with a reclaim that reclaims that pushes us all the way back to there. It's possible, right? Not everything has to be on that downside or upside. You must have just joined, Danny, because I just was explaining that for the last 10 minutes. So just stick around for 1 second. So everything in the market should, when you're trading, your news should be there, but not control decisions. Otherwise, you will have a very difficult time because we could easily pull here, hold a 50, push up, hold a neckline, push up, reject here, test again, come up, reclaim this, hold it, reclaim this, hold it, and then just back to 30K we go, right? It's possible. We don't know, and that's the thing is, uh, to I guess go on to your question, then is what I do and what I teach in the mentoring part, and even in these open sessions, guys, honestly, is it's all conditional, and you should always keep your trading mind and trading mindset as conditional. Meaning we don't. Even Neo will snap at you if you go, "Hey, where are we going today?" Oh, let me get my magic 8 ball out, right? Nobody really knows. But what I do know is I know how to read structure, technicals, and what it's doing. And so that creates and or if scenarios. Meaning if we pull and we take some just simple retracement math, and if that pull stays above the 382, so let's say we sweep it, we hit the 382, reclaim the 236, reclaim this 1 hour resistance and create a higher high, it's going to go up in a big way. And all y'all are going to be short in the top getting wrecked. If we stay here and we reject 236, or we get it, lose it, get it, lose it, and we lose the 382, and then we get it, lose it, get it, that's showing strength to the south. Now, remind you, even in this little push, anything that pushes up can pull all the way to here. You guys know in the mentor program, do you guys know why I'm laughing? I'm just curious. And I know it's a vague one, but look at on what I've been teaching. Isn't that wild? So put a thumbs up if you know. Jody knows. The rest of you I'm kicking out. Guys, I have 49 spots left in the mentor program. Go ahead and sign up. just kidding.
So my notes say it can go up or
down. Oh yeah, that's classic mentoring for me. What I'm gonna sometimes I give too much away for open, but I like to do it because you guys are all right too. When this pulls here and we did the extension, reclaim low, reclaim high, what was I teaching to give a potential target of where we might reject? Remember? Take the low, pull it up to the neckline, potential target. Take the low, pull it up to the neckline. Holy shit, Batman, that's why we're right where we rejected. You guys take better notes, John. I'm just kidding. You might have missed that. There was only a couple times that I was really deeply talking about that, but
I'm Batman.
Yeah. And so it is not easy to do that predictive, but I love to whether you took the trade and you're using it as a take profit or not, it will keep your ass safe if you do a predictive pull onto some kind of key level and at least know, well, I probably shouldn't go long here, right? At least for the time being. Doesn't mean we're going to follow the floor, but it just means it's going to have a pullback. Anyways, you guys get so much extra sauce. So my reason I'm going deep into this, and I know it's 9:20, we got to get old Neo in here so he can do his little famous line. Is I don't want you guys overly swayed by news. You need to be aware of it, but you need to understand structure. So we literally in the pre-market just now, we were looking at this drop. And so when you extend it out like this, you have the high drop, that's pivot 1, pivot 2, pivot 3. That's a 3-tier drop. When the 3-tier drop has a weak leg expansion on the 3rd tier and it reclaims the low, reclaims this high, and holds it as support with a close above, it always is going to retest that previous high. And honestly, where I'm curious where this goes, because technically it is a 1, 2, 3, that typically comes and retests the upper high. It usually reclaims the whole thing. So, but we'll see where open takes us. But I will tell you, if you are one that loves news and you're coming in and you're seeing drops like this and you're like, I'm only short to the to the floor. Here we go. We're going to the 28.2. Just do it via structure. So don't if you're because this is where and y'all, I mean, you guys put a thumbs up or agree in TikTok if this is you. You are one that will say, "Oh man, look at this! Like we are so bearish. I'm only short. You know what? I'm gonna short the top." And then market open's gonna kick. And again, this is just hypothetical. Market open kicks and it pushes and then it does this and you go, all right, I'm short, and then it goes up and then you're like, oh man, okay, I got a prior low here. You know what? I'm gonna DCA this. I'm short again. And it goes up and then your account gets broke. Because then you go buy another eval and say, oh yeah, well man, this big old push, I'm so bearish. This has to go down. I mean the whole yields. I mean, I watched 72 TikTokers that told me we're going down. And, I'm definitely short in this top. Short, that account's gone too, right? And so, my point, I'm sure that sounds very familiar to some of you based on your reactions. None of you in here do that ever, I know. But I don't care if you go long. I don't care if you go short. Your bias should be through structure, not through news. Now, can it be through news? Sure. What does that mean? What that means is if my bias is going to be news base short, then I have to let it do bearish things or stay below bearish levels or do bearish structural things to show that it's going to go short, right? And you can literally, if that's your bias or you think you'll be emotional because there's news out there, let the thing go all the way up there and then take the short, right? Or, I mean, hell, let it go all the way to here, then take the short. You don't have to, like me, if I didn't take any shorts from here and we were watching in the pre-market and I just don't care. I don't have FOMO like that. It doesn't make no difference. I see this as like, hey, Jordan's like 5 minutes, man. Shut up and let Neo talk. I'm just kidding. Kind of, probably not. We will let me bring Neo in. Uh, he is the star of the show. I just work here. Uh, so let's bring in Neo because I know we got 5 minutes. But yeah, we got 5 minutes for open. But again, guys, just today's gonna be probably pretty volatile. But your bias should not be short. It should not be long. It should be based on structure, you know. And I'll do the best I can to help with that. And I'll bet you if we pulled the retracement, kind of like what we were talking about, Peggy. Look at that, bam. I didn't go up high enough. Right off the 382 on a reclaim of 236. Padoom to the moon. Right now we'll see if they're setting it up for open, because the overall structure, and this will be the last thing I do, and then we'll talk to Neo, is that. So for us to have a drop and a pullback to there is normal, guys. 413. So if we push an open on 413 and we can't break it, it's gonna be back down. But if we break it, we're gonna have more up. But let's load up Neo.
I've had that 413 set since yesterday.
Ready when
Nice.
you are, Nick. Let's see if we can make the market do something other than chop today. What are we looking at?
Good morning. Can you give me the key levels that we should be watching for this market? We'll mark the levels quickly, guys, and then we'll go back to this chart. But
Morning,
yeah,
Nick. If the market is going to insist on this limbo dance, we might as well mark the lines so we know where it's going to trip. Overhead, we've got the active high at 29,373.75 blocking the view, and those big institutional gamma walls are hanging out way up at 29,509.94 to 29,529.94. Below us, the 29,349.00 midpoint is currently acting as support, with the active low at 29,324.00 and that major reaction zone down at 29,240.25 backing it up. Price is stuck in a compression loop, so don't try to outguess the chop. Just watch those levels. The first one to crack is usually the one that tells you who's actually in charge.
true statement. All right, guys. So mark these levels quickly. We were in a very good. I always laugh and say a very good education discussion from our. Somebody said that to me a long time ago. I don't know. I can't get that out of my head. And so we've got a little behind on it, but it was a really good teaching moment, the way the structure was playing today. And so this is kind of what he boxed us in as. Structurally makes sense. You got the high, you got the low, you got the mid. This is our gamma wall, and this is a gamma wall here, the 240. Actually, he's probably pulling that from the low structure. Looks like, which makes sense. Good. And that's a good play. Because this right here, if this cracks, then you're coming back down. If this cracks, then we're going up there. So we got 2 minutes left. For those who are joining, this morning was a little, it was a great teaching moment. So we took a lot of time in that. So we didn't really have a lot of time to going through some things. So just stick around for a little bit if you guys want to watch. This is Neo. I don't have a lot of time to answer questions here for just a minute, because everybody's waiting for me to ask the fun questions. So let's do that real quick as we approach. All right, I have those levels. If you could tell me, where would you send price on US Open here in a minute to wreck the most retail traders? Let's see what he says, guys. Again, keep your volume a little low. Be careful, because we're in a very, very fragile area.
The market usually loves a good up-to-dump ritual at the open, So I'd watch for a quick pump into that 29,342.00 to 29,368.25 bearish order block to bait the open is green crowd before flushing them down toward the 29,240.25 support.
Ooh,
Just wait for a
240?
1-minute
Ooh,
candle to
good
close
lord.
back below 29,342.00 to confirm the trap, because if price stubbornly holds above that block, the trap thesis is dead and you're likely just staring at a broken plan.
Okay, so 342. I'm going to put this at 342, guys, to see now. So he's expecting a flush up possible, and then this is the where it would break. So if we get the flush up and we get below here, he's expecting a deep pull to there. And there's our flush up. But he said keep an eye on the 42, because if we don't break the 42 back below it, then it will have an inverse and keep going. So there's our flush. We got the flush. Now we want to see, do we get the flush, the pull, close, and then that would be the sweep. So we're coming into the 42. Ooh, look at that. Getting a little better trap lock here. Let's see. Oh, it didn't get, it has to get the close. Didn't get the close yet. But here's our 42. It's coming in close. Let's see. So he wants a 1-minute candle close. I'll put this one on just because it has that candle. Ignore those entries first. Let me take it off. I don't want to confuse people. Okay, we're testing the 42. Remember, this is a big one. He said if we can't break the 42, it would have the inverse. And so right here, so you wait for the 1-minute candle close below the 42. You don't have to jump in crazy early necessarily because of the fact that there's a lot of room to go down here. So as of right now, we bounced off the 42, which is why we're getting this expansion. So got a deep push. There it is. Anybody take the bounce off the 42? Alton, you probably did, didn't you?
I did. It was awesome.
Isn't that cool?
No, I hate it, dude.
Yeah, and that's the importance.
15-minute fair value gap deviation thing. It went right to it.
That's the importance of, you got to listen to what he says. Don't just go crazy about it, because he did it a little different today than he normally does. But he said I would sweep it up above here, baiting him into the green cloud. Then I would flush it back towards 240. But just wait, because if we can't get the close below 342, right, then it's not a trap. And we didn't get the close below 342. And so the way people I know, those that oh yeah, this one's the 15-second. Good job, Alton. This is the one where, like I said, the more you guys kind of show up and watch and trade with this guy, if he says I need a sweep close below, you really want to wait for that sweep and close below. If you do just limit orders, you might get wicked in, right? And so from those who were here earlier, you guys remember, be careful right now, because we just swept the 50% and this prior low. If it hits, we close above there, it's going to be a full reclaim up, which is to 54, which is part of that 3-tier reclaim I was telling you about. But if we keep losing this 50, it's going to be a sweep up and then potential pullback. So we got to see how this continues to act, right? So as we get a push here, we got a nice little pull. If you take just a simple ruler, that's all I'm doing. If we tap here, tap here, tap here, it's going to expand. There's definitely a potential to get, I think I said somewhere here, Neo did have a 510 gamma wall that we put, but if we end up pushing through, we lose the 50 and we lose that 73, it's going to come down with some steam. What I would want to see for us to be really bearish, if it's going to be, would be the push, pull it into a V, 50% hold, and then that would be your bearish. But again, we're above that 342. We are just in a kind of what I talked about earlier, a 3-tier reclaim. So you have 1, 2, 3, reclaim low, reclaim high. That usually comes to test this high, 53. So I would suspect it would try to get to somewhere up here, but it doesn't have to be directly, So we are coming out of a little double bottom that did hold a good support, but the most important thing to me as I'm watching this dance around a little is, and again, I had someone ask me yesterday what this is that I keep drawing on my screen. Sometimes it's red, and sometimes it's blue. There's a meaning for it, and there's a reason to do the blue or the red, but the red is just when I'm pulling from top to bottom, and the blue is when I'm pulling from bottom to top. For what I'm using the ruler and what I teach people to do, I don't care which one it is, because all I care about is when I grab a top of a pivot and I pull it to a bottom of a pivot, it gives me the 50% line, and that's all I care about. That's all I'm looking for. And so, nice. Paul's like, I'm done for the day. Got that long. And so that's all I'm looking for. And so, and you can see, look at this expansion. So again, I'm expecting a push to about here, but so we have a push, bull flag, absorption out of a trap with a extension on that. And so this is where, for those of you guys, hopefully you're understanding now what I was talking about. When you come in and you see all this, there's so many people that were talking about falling to the floor and bearish, and everybody was thinking, staying short. And you gotta, all y'all in here that are just, I'm staying short, not really working out well for you. But let's see. I'm expecting, if we're going to have any kind of pull short, it's likely going to be somewhere from here. So actually, nope, we actually hit our 3-tier. So we had 1, 2, this was the 3-tier. Isn't that cool? Like some of you in here, Peggy and some others that we were talking to about that, when you can identify that, isn't it cool how many times that plays out? Like Girk, I know you already know because I know you're traded a lot.
I've actually never heard you say that it usually reclaims the whole 3-tier. This is the first time I'm noticing that.
Yeah. So what it does is the first time it will push, it usually is around the 50 of where the 3-tier began, which is like that. And so we came up, that's why we stalled there. See that stall? And then it induced it through, then it held it as support, then it pushed it. And then, now we're just kind of pre-market, right, on the pull from there. But yeah, usually that characteristic is it will tap that. So we are cleared. That 3-tier drop is cleared. We can go either which way. We can go up or down from here if we want. When you look at it a little deeper, we're also retesting what? The low, which is going to be easier to see probably if I do a higher time frame, but y'all got to learn to see it in lower time frames. We are drop, push, extension. That is deep. We are retest of the low. If you are looking at this going, oh, I'm jumping long, let's go, I'm long, depending on what happens on these pullbacks, you might get in trouble. So, because all this is, right, is drop, retest of the low here. And so with that, you can almost take the low we have to kind of that low area and expect if it rejects on that low area, it can reject all the way back to 354 before trying to push again. It's possible. And so we could definitely also moon if we wanted to, because if you look at it like this, let's mute the stuff and we'll talk to Neo again in a second, and I'll watch the comments. But we are getting an absolutely monstrous bounce because we tapped almost to the dollar where we were sent up like that, like to the dollar on it. And so we could flip extremely bullish. Now, what would cause us to flip very bullish? Pull, chop, we're in the low. If we tap here, we're preparing for another extension down. But if we reclaim this at any point, like here, then it's going to be a massive push up like that. And so this is why I said you know, those that missed the pre-meeting soapbox discussion, you want to not have a bias, you know. Your bias should not be based on news. If you do it just strictly on news, you're gonna have a really tough time. So we're in a tricky area because we have an area that was retested that needed to be retested that could explode us north. And it did a great retest. And so to your point, what you're probably, I'm assuming you're talking about, Paul, is if you take here to here, oh, interesting. That's why we're rejecting. We have a high of a structure, a low of a structure, and we're rejecting right at the 50. So it's not shocking. If long as we keep rejecting here, if we notice failure or breakdown on a low time frame, it's gonna pull back hard. If we induce through this and we start to hold it as support, this thing can really go. But 510 is going to be what you would watch for that. But yeah, that's a lot of, like, for those in TikTok that are kind of new to seeing all that, those are things that my crazy mind looks at and how I see the market a little different than most. So, and look at that rejection right off the 50. And this is where you as a breakout trader might have got your ass kicked right now because you see bull flag, push, extension, let's go, I'm long, without realizing that you're going long into a higher structure, 50% equity retrace, pull, right? So the ticker on this is, it's the NASDAQ, obviously, on that, and it's MNQ1 exclamation. I like the MNQ for my own reasons of, the MNQ or NQ is, it's so close that it's not enough to matter to me. I've traded the MNQ while trading NQ most of my life, but there's a little variation because you'll notice when you make indicators, right? It does flip it, but I prefer to be on the MNQ on that. But so I use the one exclamation because on TradingView that will be it's a continued contract, so I don't have to keep flipping contracts. So when I see the price flip, then I just flip it in my TradingView or TradeView. All right, so let's continue to analyze. We'll talk to Neo again. His levels that he gave us are still, you know, playing pretty nicely. We had basically a breakout. Let's analyze the structure. We had here, we had a market open, breakout into a bull flag, into a push that needs to create expansion. It didn't. Now this is supposed to hold at least the 50% of the flag. It didn't, but it reclaimed it. Doesn't really show a lot of strength, but it is also still market open. In fairness, if we take the high of here to the low of the structure, it swept and is trying to hold that 50%, right? And so it's where it gets a little subjective, right? But when you have a little bull flag kind of play like this, it's got to create expansion. If you lose the expansion, the inverse is pretty far down. So this is where, and I'd love to get feedback on this, guys. Yeah, I'll take a look. Appreciate it. Appreciate that. When I'd love to see if you guys agree on it, but this is where trading creates a lot of crazy emotions because if you are a pre-market, you're like, holy shit, we're going to the floor. This thing's falling. Like, oh my gosh, I'm only short. We're going to the moon. And then now you look at it like that and you're like, oh, we're bullish. I'm only long. I'm not like, it, yeah. So this is where you get a lot of the emotions, right? 1 minute it feels like the buyers are nowhere, and then the next minute it feels like the sellers are nowhere. It's just the nature of trading. And that's why I tell you guys, just you cannot create a bias based on what you're hearing in news or whatever. I don't like to do a lot of deeper predictions unless it's through candle progression, TA, all that on a higher time frame, because you just don't know. You know, I mean, you all in here in TikTok or even in the Google Meet, you guys know, think like talk news. So some of you I know have traded for years, so you guys can help me out here. The news is delayed, and so, and it's intentful. I can't tell you how many times that I would see all these articles, news, you know, massive firms out there going, you know, we're headed to the next, this could be the greatest recession ever due to what China's doing or Iran's doing or the yields are doing, or all, like whatever thing in the macroeconomics they want to throw out there. And then it pulls and everybody gets really bearish, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere we just moonshot, and you're stuck in a short figuring out what the hell just happened. I thought we were bearish like 10 minutes ago. Then you read the headline that goes, the government steps in and decides to turn on the money printer, which is tanking the dollar, which is going to raise the prices, and we're looking at new record all-time highs, and this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. While you're sitting there holding onto your short going, I thought meteors were coming and dinosaurs were back. I don't, like, you see what I mean? If you follow those headlines, man, and if for those who don't know, that seems to be what's likely going to happen, is money printer going to go turn on. So anybody in here, I kind of gave you the cheat codes, but know what happens to the market when money printer goes on. And so and so that's why you cannot, you got to stick to the technicals. And I said that earlier. And I know I'm not talking as much with Neo, guys, but I feel like this is a really important discussion because it's going to keep you guys a little safer when it gets a little wild. People will say, like we just talked about this when I did that TA extension on the other one to the 50. We're going to get a pull to that 50, and all the news headlines are going to go, oh yeah, it's because of this news and that news, and take credit for everything in the world. And the news might say, or many of you might say, oh yeah, we dropped because of the news, whereas I'm going to look at it and go, we had absorption with a push, a failed high with a pivot, giving me another extension pivot, probably equal, from a failed area here, high, low, doji, close below, and it just drops. We needed a push with a 50% reclaim. And then it's funny, the news will say we dropped to there because of all the news, and then we bounce, and then when we bounce, the news is going to say that we bounce because of all the news, but it just followed suit with technicals the whole time. So that's why, like I said, I trust me, guys, a lot of what I teach, especially in the mentoring side, I teach it based on experience. I've been the latter at times on those things. And I cannot tell you how many times, and I'd love to know who thinks this sounds familiar, that I will sit there and say, oh, here we go, CPI coming, refresh, 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 refresh. It's bullish. I'm long. I'm in. Whoa, why are we dropping? Why is it going down? Like the CPI was bullish. What is going on? Right? Like, if you're just trading based on the news, man, I'm trying to save you some pain. That's all I'm saying. I saw so many videos recently that people are posting and they're like, guys, getting back into trading. What news should I watch? What news should I look for? What news channels should I go to? What news links do you got? How do I find out what's going on? I want to study deep into the news. You don't have to be an economist. I'm not an economist. There's probably people in here, many of you, that know a whole lot more than I do when it comes to macroeconomics. I know what I need to know, right? I know what how it works through inflation, interest rates, things like that. But I just don't let it sway my decision. I don't care. If I had $1 for every time CPI or FOMC came out bullish and we went bearish, and it's funny because the news will find a reason to blame it on something. But at the end of the day, so if you think about it, if I go to like a 5-minute, and this is y'all getting some extra education on it. If I go to a 5-minute, and let's say the news comes out really bullish right now, bam, we got interest rate decision day, guys, interest rate decision, and it's bullish. They're gonna, lower rates. If they lower rates and it shoots and then it loses a high that it should not have lost if we're bullish, and it loses a low, it's gonna floor. I don't give a two shits what that interest rate came out as. It's just going to. If bullish news cannot break technicals to make the market bullish, it's going to be bearish. It's just a fact. And so, and that's why I tell you guys, if some of you guys are news junkies, we'll call it, and there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not downplaying that. You should listen to it, but I'm just gonna give you the little pre-warning of many years of pain that I went through learning this the hard way. That doing your bias deeply, and look at this, doing your bias deeply because of the news, you're gonna get whooped, man. And if you trade based on just momentum, unless you're really good at it, you're gonna get whooped. Now, look at this. Let's break this down, guys. And I know I'm not talking to Neo a lot. Some might be saying, Nick, shut up, talk to Neo. But this is important. And this is a little, some of you in TikTok and those of you guys joining, I know there's others that do it, but I don't come across a lot of TikToks where people deeply teach this kind of stuff. And I want you guys to know this because of what I'm seeing in the chart. If you've had a rough time in the market, it's probably going to get rougher if you don't understand this stuff. It's going to be worse. So, yeah, Farouk says, I'm an economist and there's still things that go above my head. And Farouk, man, you would be, I know I always respect your opinion on that stuff, but what I'm saying, I mean, it's a fair statement, right? No matter what the economics are doing, if it doesn't meet the technicals, we're going the other way. I mean, I know you've been trading for a while. How many times have you seen CPI come out bullish and then we just drop freaking 800 points, right? And so, um, I I get this like vision of Neo in my head where the news anchors or channels when it's like, oh, put out the headline, CPI is bullish, here it is. Oh shit, wait, markets are dropping? Guys, I need a reason. Give me a reason why the markets are dropping. Did Trump put something out? All right, let's go with that. Trump put out a tweet, guys. And so that's news. They're gonna find a reason to tell you why it went up. But I used an analogy that I'm gonna, just for disclaimer, and hopefully TikTok doesn't smack me for it. Hypothetical. We are not doing threats and violence. But I said it's like me walking up to you, smacking you in the head, and going, "Hey, I just want to let you know I'm about to smack you in the head." Well, you just hit me in the head. Yeah, but I let you know though. Like you knew. Well, I knew after you smacked me. It doesn't really help me. I don't know how to. I can't duck if you don't tell me before. And that's like where my mind goes with news. The market goes up, they're going to tell you all the reasons why we're bullish, and then we're going to drop, and then they're going to tell you all the reasons why we're bearish. And I mean, it's news is more delayed indicator than TradingView. So, yeah, but again, it's important. If you are one that wants to learn it, that's awesome. But I don't care if the technicals don't matter. Like anybody really shocked as to why we pulled here? Let's see who's paying attention. Why did we pull? Why did we pull? Remember? For the sake of time, so we can go back to playing with Neo. I know you're like, Nick, shut up.
Couldn't make a higher high. Rejected off to 50%.
Yep. Cody, this is why you're top tier student. So we just had a breakdown with a push, right? Tier 1, Tier 2. Tier 2 had a minor lower time frame tier 3 tier break, which pushed us to prior high, which pushed us to guys, this is, I know it's not magic. It pushes us to a 50% rejection pull. Now, sometimes that might look a little confusing, but here you go. I'll do something easier for you. We'll go to a 1 hour. Let's do a little fun time frame education here, guys. And I know some people might, again, want to keep trading, but I'm purposely going through this because this is going to save you. But you can go to something like this, a 30-minute, right? Everything in the market that you're doing your analysis on is just going to adjust via time frame. Now you can see it a little clearer, right? Nice little wick, deep rejection. And so prior low on that. So we could still fall pretty good, right? But what we want to look at is now we want to flip through time frames, and you can go to 1 minute, you can go to 15-second. I will tell you all, and if you're new to the TikTok stream or in the Google Meet here, or YouTube, man, I'm terrible at this YouTube. If anybody's gonna ask some questions on YouTube, let me load that. I get so busy. Oh, it's making me sign in. I won't be able to see your questions for now. I apologize if you're on YouTube. But yeah, we're so busy. I keep forgetting I gotta add in the thing on my OBS so I can see the comments. But I am always on the 15-second because I want to trade it via structure, movement. What is invalidating? What is validating? Are the bullish things invalidating? Are the bearish things invalidating? That's what I want to see. When I tell people, I always love this. I say, if I am going to trade, people say, what do you trade on? Well, I trade on 15 second. What are you, nuts? I mean, some of you in here are probably like, what are you, nuts? Like, I'm a swipe TikTok. This guy trades in the 15 second. I'm out. But you're going to miss out, because if you are trading like the industry, yes, you're probably going to have a little anxiety, and you might need to lower the caffeine and pop a few meds before you trade like this, because yes, you're going to get an explosive candle, probably have a panic attack, and close out if you're trading like that, right? But that's a different style of trading. Now, I'm going to show you guys something really interesting, and this is going to blow your mind. It's going to blow your mind. We all learned in elementary chart graphing. Price over time. That's all trading view is. Price over time. Well, guess what? One 15-second candle is 15 seconds, right? You have a 1 minute candle. It's 1 minute. Well, guess what? 5 1-minute candles is a 5 minute. 5 15 1-minute candles is a 15 minute. It still is. Doesn't change. No matter what time frame you're on, the highs and lows don't change. So if I'm trading like this, yes, this will drive you absolutely nuts. But I don't trade like that. I zoom out. This is a 15-second frame. This is a 1 minute frame. This is likely a 5-minute frame. This is a 15-minute frame. This is a 1 hour frame, right? So when people go, how do you see the high time frame while you're on the 15-second? Well, there's a button called zoom out. No, it's not. It's my little wheel on my mouse. But anyways, when you zoom out, all I'm looking at is structure. Where people get confused is they look at the structure and you get too caught up in the wiggle in the middle here, and you can't see the high and the low of what I refer to as pivots. So that's why I stay on the 15-second. Now, what else I like is many of you who are out there trying to learn, you probably hear the same. I need my glasses. You crack me up. You probably hear the same thing all the time, which is you need to practice. You need candle time, right? How many times have you guys heard that? You need candle time. Well, forget it. Forget the statement of you need candle time. You need just chart time to identify candle progression and structure. I'm going to ask my little question that I already know the answer to. But where do you think I'm going to find more structure to study? Is it going to be on a 1 hour? Like, are you able to see the structure when you're trading like this? Are you able to see the patterns, the candles, the progressions, the movements, right? Yeah, exactly. You already know savvy. No. Can I see it here? Yeah, I mean, kind of. I can see I got a doji, closed below, we went down. Supposed to. Got a push here, came up, push, pull, close above, didn't quite make it above, but we flat bottom, push up, held the 50, pushed up, great expansion. Supposed to, right? I'm very minute in what I can see in structure. What if I go to the 5? Oh, a little bit better. Shoot. I can see the pull, the push, a really good show of support into the expansion. Now I see a doji. If we close below the doji, it's going down. Close above it, we go up, right? Like I can start to see some. Then I go to the 1 minute and I'm like, oh, okay, well, shit. Stuff's getting a little bit easier to see now. Now I can see I had a 1, 2, right? Or I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3 tier drop with a reclaim of the low, reclaim of the high, creates that expansion back up, right? And so this, I just actually noticed that on their, this one didn't create an expansion low at all, but so we may actually get up to reclaim that high at some point. But I can see more structure is my point, right? I can see this is double topping, trying to push down. We're rejecting on a neckline, and if we lose that low, it's going to sweep. You cannot see that like that. You just can't. You definitely can't see it like that. Now guess what? Ooh, I'm gonna go to the 15-second. Man, that shows me even more. That's cool. So now I can see when I look at the chart like this, this is what we were talking about in the pre-market. We had a drop, thought this might come up, but I kept talking about there's usually one more little extension. there's the extension, the reclaim of the low, reclaim of the high, and we push back up to that area there. And so what I keep looking at, right, that was the first leg, but when it started to pull, I think I said this, maybe I don't remember if I said it, maybe I said it in my mind, but usually when you get the pull on the first leg hold, if it holds above that 50, it's going to get the full expansion up to that, which is where the 3-tier leg started, right? And so, but again, goes back to my statement of there's no wrong way to trade if you're green. If you're consistent, you're green, you're doing good, you keep doing you. I don't like people who globalize things in trading, and I don't want to do that. And so this is not the only way. I'm just letting you know how I do it. My mind thinks a little different, and I go deeper into these things with the people I mentor. And I want to get as much practice as I can. And so let's use an example why that practice can handle. And again, if y'all are in here wanting to take trades, I get it. Market's going bananas. You could be in here taking trades, but it's not really the best of setups. So that's why I kind of wanted to pivot a little bit this morning and do more of a little more education than I normally do on the open session. Because whether you're in the mentor group or what, if you're on TikTok, follow me, you're in the community, these are things y'all gotta know, man, or you're gonna get wrecked in these times of, doom and gloom of the news. And just learn structure. But one example I want to give is there's a structure that constantly plays out that I see on the 15-second, because the structure that happens here is going to be the same shit that happens here, guys. It does not change. Candle progression and structure is the exact same. So, just looking to show like examples here. All right, so look at this. Let's give a high time frame. If I blocked out my time frame and did not tell you what time frame I was on, and we got this push with a pull, remember the V I've been talking about? Couldn't break the 50, dropped, couldn't break the 50, creates extension. That's what it does. But the difference is it'll do this on the 15-second all day, but it's only going to be like 20, 30-point moves. Whereas this is going to be a lot more. You can see it's like a 300-point move, right? And so now look at the inverse. Drop, another V. This one's actually stronger because if I base it on here, we didn't really get a deep low. This one in inverse, we got a deep high. It pulled, it held well above the 50. So the moment you get a close here, that happens, right? You just apply the candle progression to high time frame if you want to do high time frame. But I'm gonna tell y'all right now, if you want to study the why, if you want to really know why the market moves, study low time frame, because the same stuff that happens on this is going to happen on high time frames. It's the same thing. It just takes longer to happen. That's all. So right. But you're gonna get way more chart time on this. Like there's some guys in the mentor group, y'all are nuts, but they're going to like the 1 second because they love that concept and they're like, shoot, I want to see more structure. I want to see really what this thing's doing, right? Every move and candle. Now the 1 second will drive you about nuts if you can't keep up with it. But everything in here is about muscle memory. It's kind of funny. I just had a little thought for those of you in the mentor group. Are you guys getting a little like PTSD of that replay exercise we do where it goes fast? I just looked at it. I was like, man, this is like, I feel like I'm on like 5, maybe speed. What do you think? This is speed 5?
That's a tough exercise when you're new and you really don't know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah, you guys want to let's have some fun. So anybody who wants to do this again, we're gonna call today free stuff Thursday. When you come into your replay, again, how many of you guys have heard all of your favorite TikTok people, mentors, educations? Hell, maybe you're running a community watching me, and you've told people this. You need to go study. You need candle time. Go to replay. Or my other favorite one. I want to learn. Well, go to YouTube. You could learn YouTube. It's amazing. And that is like me going to somebody who has never played baseball before, giving them a ball and a bat and saying, hey man, go play baseball. You may hit the ball, but you have no idea where to go. You have no idea the rules. So, you know, when I see, I'm always looking through TikTok. I see comments, lives. I just like to see what's out there. And I watch these comments and I'm like, good Lord, people put people down a wrong path. Because YouTube has a lot of great stuff. But what if I put it in a different, more realistic context? Hey, you want to learn, you want to get started, man, it's great. Don't pay nobody for nothing. Go to YouTube and learn for free and choose which of the, 382 million videos that you need to watch about trading. Just pick one. It's fine. How do you know you're practicing right? How do you know you're learning it right? How do you know, you know, again, I love analogies. It's just how my mind works, right? If I tell you to go train for some crazy event, but you go, okay, sounds good. What's the rules? I'm not going to tell you the rules. Just go train for it. Like the way my mind works, I'm like, what do I do with that? Like what? And so replay is great, but people, in my opinion, use replay wrong. Just my opinion. Take it as you will. My favorite thing to see is this. You guys all want to know a secret thing? This is going to be great. This is going to be awesome. I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to go, hold on. Let's find, let's just do this. We're just going to kind of have fun today. Again, if you guys wanted to do, if you guys wanted to take some trades, we do it every single day, but I'm doing this critical exercise today because of two reasons. One, I like to show everybody who's on here following me that, I do know a little bit of what I'm talking about, but also it will help you be prepared in the volatility that's going to continue to come. So yeah, and you guys, anybody in the mentor or who's been watching me for long enough, like Alton, I mean, you guys know. And even better yet, guys, I'm going to tell you all something really shocking. Here's Neo. He's amazing. It's our AI we created. He will teach you everything in the world, and you all can have your own. You just go to nextstepalgo.com, click on TradeVision, do the free 3-day trial, then you mute Nick, and you can be in there trading. Talking to Neo. Right, John? I'm just kidding. Where is John? John, you're my favorite guy for saying that. That was the funniest thing you could have ever said. We got two Johns in here, so we got one in there going, oh, I know what he's talking about, and the other one saying, what did I do? No. Anyways, I digress. So when you're on replay like this, right? If I have, let's say, my indicator on like this, let's I don't think trap and block likes it very well. Let's try a precision. Let's try the precision one. Let's see if they're friendly on the. Oh, it doesn't. I can't do it on the 15-second. That's right. The 15-second will not work. So let's say I'm gonna show you guys something really cool. This is the best sales pitch advice I can give you. Ooh, this is pretty sick. Hold on. I'm gonna do just something quick. I'm gonna go in. Ooh, look at that. All right, guys. Hey, guys. Just started my live. I'm back testing my indicator. I'm just back testing it. I've never seen what this is gonna do. Ooh, look at that buy. Man, this indicator's so good, guys. Like, forget that sell, but look at this buy. I'm just back testing it. Like, this is amazing. You guys want it? It's so good. I had no idea it was gonna do this. None. It was crazy. Like, wow. Yeah. All right, going down the fun rabbit holes of what drive me nuts on what goes on in the industry. But when I talk about practice, when you go to replay like this, I did an exercise where I put it on my speed. You're going to hit play and you're going to just watch it. Start with 1. And what I want to watch is I want to look for reactive moves. Do it on the 15-second. Thank me later. When I see in the beginning something move north or something move south in a reactive nature like this, I want to know why. Why did that move north? We have a absorption here, got a low, absorption back down here. Why did we explode, right? Look back, okay, we held the prior low. You're looking at what caused that movement. What's causing us to push up? Then when you get a little better at it, the exercise that I did was I use Heikin-Ashi, I know. Heikin-Ashi is amazing if you know how to use it, but I taught let the candles go, look for things like doji, look for things like absorption, forget what that candle's actually called. I love that argument when I'm in there going, this is a doji. No, it's an evening star. We got a silver bullet followed by a turtle super, and we always joke about that. But I don't care what you call it. I just want to know if it's going up or down. Like keep the semantics out of it. I don't care. Is it going up or down? Do I push green or red? That's all we want to know. Like, let's be honest. And so when you're studying, there's only really 3 things you need to worry about in Heikinashi. Doji, absorption. I don't call them hammers because it's just absorption. Really, it's all a hammer is, right? The buyers pushed, sellers kicked in. That's all it is. And so I want to identify, the first exercise I teach people to study is take and identify, ooh, there's a doji. Okay. We got a little one there. There's another one right there. Okay, we got one there. Ooh, why did we drop? Oh, interesting. Okay, so we had a push. We had a doji with a close below it, caused that pull, right? So I'm studying candles and progression. I'm not backtesting indicators because your indicators, it's good to backtest them like that, but not for the purpose that most people do. And so as it goes, I just literally have the best candle time I can do. Now, the final thing I'm going to mention, and then we'll jump back over to Neo here, is yeah, the final thing I'm going to mention on it is when you are studying. There's I have been in management my whole life since I was 18. Literally, I was 6 months into 18, and you know, I think the owner realized how crazy my mind was even at a young age, and was like, "You want to be a manager?" So I've been in management since I was 18. I've done training, most everything that I've done in my careers. I've done a lot of training, and so. Um, Anybody who's familiar with it, when I worked for AT&T, I was certified trainer for our Smith system. I love that because it opened my eyes to something really cool, which is the psychological side of what we see, what we think, and what we say, right? It's different. So when I think of something and I do it, it's good, but it doesn't retain as well as if I say it, right? Because when you're saying it, you get into a different kind of part of your brain. And so also it's a gauge to see, oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, dude, it was amazing. Like the way my mind works when I was taught that, ooh, look at that little V. Anyway, we're on the replay. I was like, I thought that just happened. I was like, what? Forgot I was on replay. But so what that means is when you're studying, you want to see how fast can you process what you're seeing. And I think you all will probably be shocked. I know when I did this exercise deeply with the team that I developed for a bit, they were all shocked. Because you may think that you see this market quickly, but then when you start really cranking up the speed, you don't see it as quick as you thought. So there's people that were really good at TA that still kind of struggled with this, even at 1. And what I see a lot when I did this exercise and I mentor, is you look at it and you go, how? Like, it's easy. But when you're in there really looking at it, there's so much going on in your mind of, am I right? Am I wrong? Is this up? Is it down? What's an entry? Where is it going? And so you're not able to process it all and vocally say it quickly, right? And so you're actually not processing it as fast as you think. And so people, when they first started it, and I know some of you guys who did it can vouch for this, you're looking at it going, this ain't that bad. Then you get into it and you're like, oh, got the doji, absorption. Okay, we're pushing. We're kind of rejecting. Let me look and see. Might be rejecting because of here. Oh, we got the prior high. Let me go back. Yeah, we got this here. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, okay, so yeah, reject. Let me find the, like, you're not as collected as you think you are, right? And so it was a really cool exercise. And so when I was showing people 1 through 10 speed, I think it was you, Cody. Sounds like a Cody thing. I kept doing 5 and 7, and he was like, "What, are you scared of 10?" Kinda, right? If you go to 10, I mean, can you guys trade that? Keep up with that? Uh, it's difficult. right? It's very difficult to process all that, what's going on at that kind of speed. But when you can do it, and it's not about being a right or wrong in this exercise, but when you can do this process of this speed, and I can look at it and keep up with the candles closely, saying things like, you know, we got a drop, we got a push, higher low, push, got a rejection here, failed expansion, pulled, held the 50, got a push, failed expansion, dropped below, reclaimed it, held the 50, got a little bit of extension, back on the 50, lost it, we're going back down, we're pulling through. Filled right here. We got the doji with the pull with the extension coming up. We got the little inverse head and shoulder pulled up, retested the low, lost it, came back down, retested that, lost that again. Got the absorption, the pull, the expansion. Expansion came through here. We're coming through. We're looking for a possible reclaim from the lows there. We're getting that high from there from the triple bottom. Couldn't get the expansion. We lost it. When you can take it and what you're seeing and relay it quickly, that means your mind is actually looking at things you're supposed to be looking at. And when you get used to practicing like that and you go in to regular candles, now I'm like, yep, seen that before. Just waiting for it to play out. Because it's kind of like training for a sport event, right? You're out there training for a sport event. You train harder than what you need to actually play. And it's a really good exercise, so I suggest you guys all try it out. Looks like some people are dropping off. Maybe y'all got your wins.
Hey Nick, where do you click on that?
Huh?
Where do you click for the replay?
Where do I flip? You've done a replay, haven't you, Kirk?
Oh, no, I've never used it on this. I did it on like TradeZilla and
Oh,
other things. But
yeah.
I see it.
So when you do that, you just start now, and then you have the bottom here, you have options. You can do by bar. So if I select bar, it's going to allow me to pick where I want to go. When I want to practice, I'll do it on random. And then that way I don't know where it goes, you know. But yeah, anyways.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a really good exercise.
Yeah, it's fun. I know some of you guys had a love-hate relationship with it.
I don't know about fun, but really good.
It was yeah, talk about take you out of your comfort zone, right? All right, guys, let's look. So we have 10:16. We still got some time. So I'm going to pull Neo over here. Again, for those who just joined, it looks like good amount stayed, good amount left. You know, take it for what it's worth. But I will tell you, it's a very important discussion to have today, you know, versus just let me get that next trade. Because I'm going to tell you, learning how to interpret the market is going to help save you to where you get the next thousands of trades. So don't worry about the one day, the one trade that you missed. You know, don't worry about, you know, one trade's not going to retire you. So, yeah, definitely. And so for those who are on here, didn't really know what we got going on, this is Neo. He's the AI that we created for the company. He does everything you really need him to do. He can be your mentor, guide, coach, pretty much will do everything that you want him to do. And he's really easy to use. You just go to the website nextstepalgo.com. TradeVision is where this is. And all you do is talk to him. You just go in, you talk to him. I like to put it on funny because I like a good laugh. If you don't like the commentary, you can put them on institutional or advanced or something. I like a good laugh. We're doing the MNQ. He does do a lot of other things. We have all these symbols in here: options, stocks, cryptos, etc. We are in the process of testing and fine-tuning him to actually live trade for people and execute, which is going to be great. And so if you are one who is wanting to learn, Neo is going to be a great one for you. If you're one who is wanting to improve, then he's also going to be great. If you are one that did you lose one today? I don't know what you mean on that. Or if you're talking to me. You know, even experienced people I have that come in and they're enjoying using Neo because same thing with me. Why do I want to go through and do all these? Like the people in here that have been with me for a bit, they know when I would normally coach through market open, I'm analyzing everything. Like we're calling it out, like and trying to find levels, figure out what the market's doing. And it's so much more laid back now because it's, hey Neo, where are we going? All right, mark this level. Sweet. Hey, where's the long? Well, we break and hold above this. All right, thanks. Like it's just, I mean, why not make it easy, right? And so that's what Neo does. And so with him, he's just easy to talk to. You just come in and talk to him. So let's see what he's got to say. All right, we did a little education on the side here with the community, TikTok and such, but now we're back to looking at the market. Can you break down where we are, what we should be looking at, what our bias should be, all that? I wonder if we're going to get this 240, the way you said it, but yeah, if it can't reclaim that 50, right about there. If we stay below that, then it'd be kind of like a little V on a higher time
Alright,
frame.
Nick, the market is currently acting like a teenager deciding where to eat, jammed inside a 1 minute and 1 hour bullish order block zone. 29320, 29366. The swing data is screaming bearish continuation, but institutional flow is trying to hold us up, creating a total mess. I'm waiting. If price loses 29,320, I'm eyeing a short toward the 29,288 institutional support zone. If it reclaims 29,366, maybe the bulls get a breather. Don't trade the middle.
All right. So he is, let's mark these levels here. So also what I was looking at from a kind of a structural standpoint. So the reason why we're bouncing is because this is what caused that. And so we just had a pretty good test of that. That's all that was. And then we're getting a good bounce. So as we get this, the way the structure looks, you kind of have a little chop. We just had a sweep wick and we're absorbing. Anything that reclaims that 50 is going to try to reclaim that top. So if we can reclaim this top, a lot of what will happen is you'll get this, then you'll get a pull to the top or a pull to the 50, and it either holds and we go up or it breaks and we go down. So we'll see. And so remember, when he says a 1 minute candle close, you got to get the 1 minute candle close. And so he said he wanted a 1 minute candle close below 320. That would be like that. And we did not get that yet on there. So we're in a little bit of a battle between this pivot drop. Right there. See how it's tapping the 50? So that's just from this drop. It's respecting that 50. So it's either going to break this and we're going to 510, or it's going to reject here, break that, and we're going to the 240. And so once it gets out of the chop. But let's see. Can you give us a long and short setup? Would you also prefer taking longs here or shorts? He's thinking about it. Neither. I prefer to sit on my hands.
The market is wrestling with itself like a toddler over a toy, jammed between 29,338 gamma support and the 29,416 institutional pivot. I'm leaning short given the bearish trend, but trading the middle here is just donating to the market gods. I'd short only if we lose 29,338 with a 1 minute close, targeting 29,281. Structural invalidation is 29,416. For longs, I need acceptance above 29,416, targeting 29487.
You know, I've come to the conclusion that Neo really hates kids.
Depends. He gets moody some days. But yeah, it definitely heavily depends on his mood for the day.
He's always bagging on toddlers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're in a interesting, it's not surprising we're chopping, right? We're trying to hold here while trying to reject the 50 of here. So that is literally the definition of why we chop. Yeah, so let's see what this does here. What are the institutions doing, buying or selling? I don't think I got that earlier. I'd like to see what he has institutional data, so we can see what he's got on that. But yeah, guys, if you have questions, drop them in there. We'll look and see what we can get, but it's almost
The
10:30.
institutions are out here smashing the buy button, but the market's structure is acting like it's allergic to that 29,416
Institutions are buying it up.
institutional pivot. It's a classic case of flow versus reality. The buy pressure is there, but the price chart is still dragging its feet. I wouldn't bet the farm on that flow just yet while the structure is still this conflicted. Wait for the price to actually prove the buyers aren't just becoming exit liquidity.
One sec. Alex was texting me. Just wanted to respond here again. Dun, dun, dun. All right, but yeah, guys, if you have questions, let me know. The where can we go, right? It's tricky. So we have the drop, push, hold of the high. Anything that stays below this or low, below this low runs a deep risk of going a lot lower. If we reclaim this low and this high, which would really be a reclaim of 510, I would not short that top unless it reclaims back below because it will go really far. Anything short of that, right, we are just chopping. So we definitely could have another little pull. Dun, dun, dun. But makes sense, guys. Any questions, thoughts on this? Let me know. Let me ask them. Can you list out all the institutional walls that we should be watching?
Here's your institutional shopping list, minus the magic 8 ball. With MNQ trading at 29,396.25, your overhead resistance zone is sitting at 29,488.22. Below us, we have a support cluster at 29,388.69, 29,345.47, and 29,338.69. These levels are just reaction areas. Think of them as places where the market might stop to catch its breath, not a guarantee that it'll turn around. So make sure price structure actually confirms your trade before you jump in.
Yeah. All right, you guys got the levels. So 396. Nope, that's where it was trading. So he has 488. So they adjusted this one a little down. So pull that one to 488. Then you got 388 is where we were trading. No, 480 is where we were trading. So we got 388. 488. Yeah, 488 and 388. Got it. Okay, and then we got 345. Then we got 338. You always want to ask them and update your levels, guys, because they were always changing. I'm not going to change the ones below us. We'll see what happens on it. But this is a pivotal spot right here.
You know what I've started doing too, Nick? I've noticed a lot on is when it gives us our 15-minute orb, I fib it out, and like, you know, we went below it, we're back into it, and we've just stayed below the 50% the whole entire time, and actually tapped into the golden zone.
Yeah.
And it's like we just can't get above it, so that usually points towards going lower, but I've been keeping an eye on fibbing out the 15-minute orb, and it's funny how it goes to the points.
Yeah, it's kind of a tricky, almost interesting structure for me though,
Yeah,
because
today it It doesn't know what it wants to do.
Well, and so what I don't like about how it's clustering like this is we have drop, drop, pull, structurally supports deeper low for sure. So, and it's always, you know, you're bullish till you're not, you're bearish till you're not, kind of thing. But we have a deep kind of drop, extension, reclaim, and that is our neckline of a, we'll call it an ugly double bottom. And it's respecting the absolute hell out of it. So if it keeps respecting it, right, then it would go back up. But the deeper structure suggests that it should go back down. But the way that this is holding it, if you think, if you were to fib it out, let's see what it's looking at. And we take that low to that high, the 618 is really what we can't break. See, it's tap, 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 tap. And so if we can get a clean breakthrough here and reclaim that 236 is what will create expansion. If we lose that 618, then yes, we'll create that deeper pull. Now from a flip side, this is what I was looking at earlier. This is kind of like maybe a slightly higher time frame V, and then this would be the 50. And so if we stay below this, now we can wick it. See how it's kind of wicking it here? We can wick it all day long, but if it stays below that, this is a bearish continuation, not reversal. If we hold this because this wants to hold it, and we push through that, and we begin to hold that 50, then it invalidates, and it's going to go up big the other way. And so it's kind of just it's a case of what does it want to do?
And that's essentially the 15-minute orb, exactly what you marked out.
Yeah. Is it? It's funny, that's what I always talk about in trading is, isn't it wild how you can have so many different ways to look at a market and come up with the same conclusion?
Yeah, because I saw a video one day on a guy, explaining the 15-minute orb, and there's so many times it fakes people out because they just say, "Oh, it's as easy as this. Mark it out. It's going to close above, then you're going long," or da 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 da. But so many times it'll say break above it, it'll come back in and retest, say the 50 or the 618, and then do the continuation.
Yeah.
And that's where nobody was telling anybody that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You know how I feel about it, man. Like anybody who says if this does this every time it works, they're full of shit because there's nothing in trading that every time it works. But a lot of people like to teach based on what they read, not because they've actually studied or tested it. Some do. But when they tell you those things like that, to what you just said, it's like I used the analogy before. It's like me telling you about an amazing movie and then the power going out on the punchline, and you're like, wait, what just happened? Like you have all the
It's an easy way for them to make money off of it.
oh yeah, and you got the plot of the movie, but you don't actually know how the story ends. And so see how I'm watching this right here. This is what I was kind of looking at. So we have this low to that high of the pivot, and you pull through 618. See, it's trying to hold. So we have this holding that, and then from the higher, and then we have the lower one now trying to hold it. So if it can reclaim through that 236, this next one it might have enough juice to reverse it more up, but we'll see. Structure-wise, this suggests continuation. It's just we're trying to identify, is it going to continue and do bearish things to continue, or are we going to invalidate is what I'm looking at. And so a push through here again that can eventually hold here. So if we take this low and we do our extension projection, that would put a push to 442 that then would reject. If that rejection holds, it's going to go up higher. If it loses, then it's going to go down. And so let's watch and see how it plays. I don't know. Did you guys? I didn't have it on. Did you guys use this much? Looks like it has a little scalp in there on the short. So this indicator is it's really good in Asia for sure. It crushes it in Asia. It's so good. US, it's hit or miss because remember indicators are very lagging. And so when you get the volume and volatility of US, man, it just it's not going to be as good. So because they're just the market moves so fast. By the time it activates, it probably is either already at TP or there. The reason I built that indicator is more so people have you have the ability to see what a trade setup looks like, right? What structure looks like. And so this is a big thing here, guys. Because see this, we've had all these deep sweeps. This is our first higher low into the deep sweep. So if this can push through, then we may actually see that potential predictive that I do, which would be around 42. Let's see. Again, all I'm trying to decide now, like Neo would tell you, you don't want to lean one way or the other in chop because we're trying to decide, does the structure validate or does the structure invalidate? Both can happen. Both can happen, guys. Let's see. This is our test of our low. Bulls would need to come in here soon or they're going to lose it to the validation. Watch it. Guys, let me look and see. Sorry, I just saw that. Yeah, well, make sure you know how to do it. So if you subscribe to an indicator, if you subscribe to an indicator, you just want to click on the indicators and then go to invite only, and then it will be in there. If you don't see it, you probably need to log out and in, or you need to load your layout again. You just do the little drop down here, and you hit open layout, click the layout, and see how it reloads it, and then clear the old one, and then go to indicators invite only. And let me know if you see that. If you still don't see it even after all that, then we might need to look. But let me I'll see on the back end just to make sure if it, because everything auto fills on our stuff.
Hey man, I thought I was doing pretty good at being technical support.
Yeah, your technical support help was as good as my Neo one when I tell him send it to here and he just goes, nah, just go to start here. Like, what? I'm just kidding. I know, I'm just kidding. I appreciate that. You're just like, it doesn't work. Make a support ticket. No, you do. I appreciate it. I just mess with you. The la 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 la. But let me see. So see, we're just still chopping this. Chopping away. So when you're doing this consistent chop, you just want to see, like I said, are we validating or invalidating? When I'm watching this, what I'm looking at is we're getting kind of that top, but see how we're starting to get a little flex in there. Let's see. See where this goes. But if you guys have questions, please ask. Let me know. We're a little bit early from it, and it's not ideal spot here because we're in a decision area, right? Are we going to break through here and invalidate this structure, validating our low, or are we going to break back down? Remember this low right here, guys, was a absolutely critical low on high time frame. See? Critical low. So I would just be very careful having too bias of a bear being bearish. Because that is bouncing off of a very critical low that it needed to bounce off of. See this? See the weakness in that bouncing off Neo's levels? Creates the expansion. Like clockwork. Where we get fade away, yeah, I mean, pretty much. Yeah. So this is important. Remember I was telling you guys the signs are there, but we need a couple good kind of closes here to validate for that. But the true, everything in trading is risk and reward. The safer play, if you wanted to take longs and you're not a scalper, would be to let it push, pull, push, pull, hold, 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 reclaim that low. And then in here, you would look to go long because then you would take that area as your stop. That would be safer. Because once you get through here, there's just not a lot stopping it till like here, like 100 points away or more. But the scalpers in the room know how to treat that. And so this type of chop here is just money for the way that I teach on scalping. Because you think about this, guys, this is a 90 to, it's like a $70 move. That's what we're looking at. So we have the chop. My suspicion is they're going to invalidate this and try to push it up. That's what I've kind of been leaning on. Ugh. And so, we'll see. We were just talking, and it's funny, the morning was very, very bearish, and everything looks bearish, but we are bouncing off a critical higher time frame low, and it's starting to more invalidate bearish things. Do you see that potential of us reversing back north pretty hard, and what would we need to cross to do that? Let's see. This is where he either goes, yeah, I agree, or no. Let's see what he says. I don't see that at all.
Nick, you're spot on. The Bears had a nice party this morning, but they're currently realizing the HTF low is an uninvited guest crashing the bash. The market is trying to boat flip, but don't count your chickens yet. To really send this north, I need to see a 1-minute candle close and hold above that 29,487.23 institutional resistance wall. Until then, institutional flow is still grumbling, sell, while price says, buy. So I treat this as a stubborn bounce rather than a confirmed moon mission. If price fails to reclaim 29,487 and starts losing 29,338 again, the bears might just reload.
Yeah, let's see how it's doing it. So this is where, again, I heavily teach bearish continuation setup. Chop, holding on a bullish reversal setup, which is why we chop. Lows, lows, sweep, higher, low, push, good hold, expansion, good hold, expansion. This one, what I'm curious to see, if you guys remember how I calculated it on that thing that I test, 42 was somewhere around 42 right there. is where that would create that expansion. That's going to be a big level for me because that's where it's supposed to go. And then if it gets to that 42 and it rejects back to the 38 and holds it, then it's going to expand up north really big. But if we get to the 42, reject, lose 38, then it's going to drop really big. So, but guys, 10:45. Some of you guys I know got some trades, some maybe didn't. Hopefully, you kept your volume low and you would have been okay because we really didn't go much. Again, just I know there's a lot going on, but my caution to you is everything going on in the economic side of it can be fixed by the money printer being turned on. If money printer turns on, markets go to the moon. So you will figure out while you're trying to short a top very quickly what that means when that does that. So just be careful on it within the trades. So let me talk briefly about what we do here for those that are still hanging on. Yeah, got it all recorded. So this is Neo. He's our AI we created. He is going to help you with any kind of trading you want. You could be brand new, you could be experienced. It doesn't matter. He will help you validate things, indicators. If you have indicator setups, my indicator's telling me to go long. What do you think? He's going to tell you why it's a good idea or why it's a bad idea or what to look for. And he will help coach you, develop you, teach you, keep you safe, tell you you're nuts for going long or short. He's not agreeable. If he agrees with something, he'll agree with you. And if he doesn't, then he will damn sure tell you he doesn't. Sometimes a little rude. But and he has memory. So, I give people this advice when you're using Neo. Go in and when you first talk to him, just tell him about yourself. How long you've been trading, what you're doing, what you look at. Are you swing trader, scalper, day trader, whatever you want to call yourself, top and bottom trader. Do you like high volume, low volume? Do you like, long-term scout or plays, 30, 40 point plays? Or do you like the latter? I gotta stand up a little bit. Oof, my back's giving me. I love standing desks. If you don't have one, I recommend it. And he's easy to use, guys. You can use it on your cell phone. You can just go in and talk to him. It's all web-based, commercially hosted. So, if you're looking to get a little extra guidance, right, he's going to help you. So we do a free 3-day trial you guys can do if you like. And when you come to our website, just show you. You're looking for TradeVision. If you're on the phone, it's a little harder because you just deal with icons. It looks like that. It's just the little first robot head, like that. So if you're looking for something free, then that is Neo AI Sessions. He is going to give you
Hello, I'm Neo. Let's capture the mood.
the market update, confidence, long, short, all that information, and he's pretty spot on. I know there's some in the mentor group that they use him pretty regularly. And this is free. It's just a stream. You don't have to hook up nothing. You just put it on an iPad, slap it on your desk, and watch him. He will talk to you if it's unmuted. And so if you just want a little help me stay safe in this market guidance, that's a good way to go. And it doesn't cost anything because it's just a stream. So we don't really plan on charging for him anytime soon because we have so many other things going on. And it's really important to me that you guys have something out there that can help keep you safe, that you don't have to necessarily pay for. So, yeah, so if you want to check it out, that's where you go. We do trade in the afternoon, so I hard stop at 11, and I trade with my mentor and my VIP group. So if you wanted to check it out, that's the VIP pass. In nutshell, they pretty much get everything we have to offer, including the auto trading that will come out here soon. We have indicators, trading courses, just like anything else. Our trading courses are not expensive with the coupon. Each one's like $30. When you click on it, you get full chapters, ebooks, workbooks. It's not a video. We're not sending you to YouTube. You get an ebook.
Foundations. YNQ requires a.
And guess the part, the cool part is when you're doing your training, you can actually ask Neo questions. So if I say something like time of day volatility distribution is asymmetric, I can ask Neo, I don't know what that means. Hey Neo, I'm in this training and it says time of day volatility distribution is asymmetric. I'm pretty new. Can you explain that to me like I'm a 5-year-old? And I'll send it and he's going to tell you. And so how many times you go through
Think of the
training,
market
right?
like a
That you
playground
can
where
get
the
help.
rules change depending on when you go outside. Asymmetric volatility just means that the market doesn't move the same way all day long. Some times of the day are very calm, like a quiet morning, and other times are very busy and loud, like resets. In the course, we learn that because the NQ, the asset we are trading, reacts to different things at different times, like when banks open or when big news comes out. You can't expect it to behave the same at 6 a.m. as it does at 3 p.m. If you try to play quiet morning games during loud recess time, you'll get confused because the market is moving much faster and differently than you expected. Does that help you see why the time of day?
So I'm gonna stop him. But so you can ask him as many questions as you want, you know. So like going to a little online schooling that you have AI to talk to. But aside from that, guys, I'm gonna jump off here if there's no questions because we're gonna get prepared to go to our afternoon session, which we're gonna go in and study the market. Yeah. Anyways, any questions, guys? If not, we're gonna dip out and go make some money in the afternoon. How'd you do, Brittany? Thanks for joining every day. Did you do okay? It's a tough.
It was a little bit of a tough day for me,
It's
so I
tough.
had a tight like stop loss for the day, and I hit it. So I've just been watching.
Nice. Yeah, this is to maybe it helps, maybe it doesn't, but to make you feel better. That's why if you've been on each day, and a lot of you have, I did a deep pivot today where I'm like, we're gonna teach you a little something because it's not always about give me the next trade, right? And when we saw this in the pre-market, immediately I was like, I need to cover this because the news is gonna heavily mess with people's minds, you know, and the market and the volatility is about to get even crazier. So there's just so many things that could drop us to a lot lower levels, and there's so many things that it's trying to hold that if it does hold will push us to a lot higher levels. And so when you look at it like that, like I was mentioning before, there's some stuff that lines up that suggests we should get back down to about here, the 772, 28,772. That's a long way down. But we also know that in this bearish pull, we had a pull weak retracement, right off the 382, which gave us expansion. That expansion is holding that prior low. So, which is not only this, but you look left, I mean, shoot, it did it all kinds of times, right? Before we jumped up again to like as high as 30,006, 30,002. So this could be setting up another leg drop, which sets up a perfect pivot pull, but it also could be setting up a fake out and we go back up and then all we do is oscillate for a little bit like that. And so that's why you gotta, at the end of the day, you know, as long as we're above here, it still has the potential to be bullish. This is our upper, this is our Gann fan down. Whenever you get these kind of if you like trend lines, it can come down and retest the lower of that trend line, so it's not impossible. But all I do know is whenever we break this one, unless news comes out really crazy that it's catalyst to just shatter through it, it's pretty freaking high probability that we're going to get to this trend. So once it breaks this one, it'll just wiggle a bit before it goes back up to there. So, and then if we stay below that, we'll have a deep drop. Break above that, we'll have a deep push. And so the best thing to do is just not have a bias. And, you know, it's also not a great time, depending on where we are in the price, to do long-term plays like holds and such. Like a lot of people who are doing breakout trading might be having a really big, difficult day today because this chop doesn't do well for them. So But yeah, that's why I did a little pivot, because I suspected it was gonna be a difficult day for people on that. So I knew if I was out here going call this and long and short and Neo and he could have been right, he could have been wrong, I don't know. But that also is a quick reminder for all of you that y'all can have your own Neo. I'm sure some of you were turning me down going, Nick, shut up, I can't hear my Neo. Which I'm okay, guys. I don't mind when that happens. But good deal. I'm gonna drop